Rishi.
Hello, James.
It's lovely to see you. Um,
Yes.
Thank you so much for the talk today. It's exactly what I needed to hear. And it's just amazing how insidious the mind is at regurgitating this same old story over and over again. That there's something, excuse me, something that needs to be done to realize that I am awareness itself.
Yes.
I tend to keep falling into this trap that there's something that the mind has to do to correct the tendency of the mind to forget the very things that you've been saying that I've heard over and over again. And, intellectually I know, and I do return to, but nonetheless, the tendency of the mind is just so strong. Um, anyway, I just wanted to say that, but I so much appreciated what you had to say because it was just spot on for me.
Yeah, thank you, James. I really appreciate your comment. And it really is something that everyone, until there is this deep recognition that I am aware in all three states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping, and this is one's direct perception. Um, yeah, it just requires persistence and a certain amount of self-forgiveness, doesn't it, to keep coming back over and over, and to recognize it when we've slipped away, when we've gotten drawn away into some familiar storyline, if you will,
Right.
um, about who I am or what I am, or my shortcomings or my failings. So, yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, because it's a persistent challenge for most people for a long period of time. So, yeah, just
Yeah.
remain persistent.
And I think, like so many at this for a while, I sort of vacillate back and forwards between believing that story and resting as awareness. It's sort of a ping pong, a ping pong game in a way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, thank you so much.
It's good to have you here, and just to be in this mm, just to be in this space together. That's really the reason that we do this, isn't it? It's so that we come together periodically, and that's part of our practice of persistence, is to keep reminding ourselves, whether it's through coming to a Zoom satsang like this, or through watching a video, or through picking up some favorite book like the Ashtabakya Gita, or something that reminds us that our primary aim of this incarnation, if you will, is to remember who we are. Um, this is especially important if we spend a great deal of our time uh, thinking that we are whatever our life experience is, and forgetting that we are in fact the heart of being. So yeah, very good, very good.
Hello, Rishi.
Hello, Joy.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Nice. First of all, thank you for again for this wonderful opportunity. Um, I got a question about I'm starting to make slow progress in something, and that's about when I recognize my ego. When, for example, when I'm get judgmental or I see something that I don't that my ego doesn't like, some thought pop up or some judgment pops up, and I can ask myself self-inquiry like, who is this, or where does it come from? And
Yes.
then I see it like vanish. Yeah, it vanish sometimes,
Yes. Very good.
and I'm like, whoa, that's nice. But when yeah, when I'm with when it's not directly coming from the ego, when it's like random thoughts, I find it very hard to stay still, and I get annoyed by random thoughts popping up, or like voices in my head telling me things, and I'm like, no, I have to be still, and I don't want to get engaged with you, and all that sort of things. But then they're grabbing me like even more, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. But when it's the ego, and it's very clear, I can um yeah, it's working, but not when the thoughts are like random for a situation, for example, for tomorrow I have to do this and that, and I'm thinking about it, and then I'm like, oh, no, I don't have to think about it, go back. And then
Hmm.
I'm trying to go back, and then another thought comes, and another thought, and another thought. So it's very hard for me to be still. So I want to ask you if you got like a tip for me, or something that yeah, that helps me with this.
So, have you realized yet that the same one that feels this sense of success at some moments, when you're very on top of it, let's say,
Mhm.
and the one who also becomes mm, judgmental and critical, self-critical, um, have you noticed that um, the one that is aware of both of those situations, both the success, if you will, and the
Mhm.
failure, because this is what you're perceiving in your own mind, is that at the moments when you can't control it, that you are somehow failing. Have
Yes,
you
yes.
begun? So begin to notice that the one who is both aware of the success and aware of the moments of perceived failure, that this is the same one, that this is not two different people. You're sort of relating to it like it's two different people. The one who succeeds,
Yes.
there's a perception of, oh, I'm good. Oh, I've got it. Oh, yes, it's working. I'm proceeding. I'm progressing. You see, there's this one. And then there's this other one who is failing, who's not succeeding, who is getting caught and struggling. So this is just an indicator that you're still in some ways operating in this sense of duality. Some things are good and some things are not good. So the secret is to begin, especially during the times when you perceive that you are succeeding, that you simply acknowledge that yes, you may be succeeding in this moment, but this doesn't really benefit you in any way. You are simply the one that's aware, and it's pointing that out to you. What you're saying is the success is I am able to stay more aware in this situation, and that's progress. And so you call that success, and that's a plus. But then when the other side of the duality arises, you become self-critical. For most of us, when we go into that kind of patterning, we lose sight of the fact that the awareness which is here in this self-critical moment is not different from the awareness which is here during the moments of success or the
Mhm.
moments when we feel good about ourselves. So the question you need to ask yourself in both circumstances, no matter what thoughts are present, whether the thoughts are beneficial, this is good, I'm progressing, or the thoughts are, oh, I'm falling on my face here and I'm not getting this and I don't understand, or I'm not succeeding. The same awareness is present in both of those moments. This is the way in which we bridge the positive and the negative, the duality of living in life where some things are good and some things are not good. This is how we bridge that, is we we start to really give our attention to what is aware and knows that, oh, I am progressing slowly, and know that that is the same exact awareness that says, oh, right now I am disturbed. I'm not getting it. I'm failing in this moment. You see what I'm saying? That the same awareness is present.
Mm.
Then the judgment that you're talking about, the opinion that you're holding about yourself either being a success or a failure, becomes not as important. It's not as relevant.
Yeah, yeah, because success is observed, but failure is observed too. Like,
Yes.
yes, and now I'm getting it. Like, but for me, it was like when it's success, it's like nice and quiet,
Mm-hmm.
and when it's like failure, it's like toot, toot, toot. But what you said, it's both perceived. Yeah, I both know.
Yes. And the question is, who notices this? Who notices the success, which is peaceful, open, and calm? Who notices the judgment, right?
Mm.
In both cases, the question remains the same. Who or what is aware of this? And not with the idea that you are going to discover some separate me, but with the idea that what you're going to discover is you are that consciousness itself, or that awareness in this moment, right? Because this one is here now. This is not just a theoretical thing that we're talking about, right? This awareness which
Mm.
you are is here now, is it not?
Yes.
Yes, it's here in this moment. So you see, it's also here during a neutral time when we're talking about this. This is why it's said, makes no difference whether what's in the mind, whether the object is pleasant, it's unpleasant, or it's neutral. The consciousness, the awareness, the understanding, the presence which you are, is there before all three of these. When we see this and when we begin to understand this, then we become less judgmental of ourselves, less judgmental of others, less judgmental of the world. Because we recognize that what is here is awareness itself. We are that.
Mm.
And it may be true that it's very pleasant, loving, and open to be aware when we feel this sense of success, this sense of presence, which we are, that this is a much more pleasant experience than living in our self-criticism, in our self-judgment, right? This is a much more pleasant experience. So this creates a tendency in us to want to go toward what is pleasant, but that's not the solution to the difficulty. The solution is to let the pleasant be the pleasant, let the unpleasant be the unpleasant, let the neutral be the neutral, and remain as I am,
Mm.
that which is aware of all the states that are coming and going.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
And so I suggest to you that the remembrance that might be better for you, rather than when you're in the difficulty and you're feeling the judgment and you're feeling the loss of the sense of peacefulness that you get when you feel the success, instead of trying to force your mind back into a space where you are feeling that uh, sense of making some progress, just move yourself into a neutral space, just like you're having a conversation with someone and you're just talking it over, but you're not, you know, the judgment is gone from your voice, and you're not trying to gain something, you're just trying to understand something, right? That's more of a neutral space. That's the space that we're in right now.
Mm.
So rather than going from, oh, I'm not getting it now, I'm misunderstanding, and trying to force yourself back into peacefulness or calmness or silence, right? That's going to be artificial. It's not going to work. That's why you feel this sense of resistance come up when you tell yourself, oh, I shouldn't be thinking like this. I should be peaceful. I should be calm. I should be silent. This isn't going to work because this is too much resistance. So just go ahead and ask yourself, Who is noticing this? Who is aware in this circumstance? Don't worry about making it pleasant. Just try to bring it more into a neutral space. And you do this by asking the question or by noticing, what is aware here now?
Yeah. Yes,
Does this, does that make sense to you?
Yes, just makes sense. And like my mind, when it's like unsuccessful, he speaks to me like, you see, it's all for nothing, because then it was pleasant, and
Yes.
now it's not pleasant. But
Yes.
then what you said, I realized I noticed that too. So it's it's
And
very helpful.
just by noticing that, it brings you more into a more neutral space. And the neutral space is the space in which you really have the opportunity to experience presence, which doesn't move no matter which way mind goes. Whether it goes to the unpleasant or it goes to the pleasant, does not make such a big difference. That's why, you see, there was this one piece in here, I don't know if I can put my finger on it right away, where he says, let me see if I can grab it and see if I can tie it into my thought here, and we'll see. He says, if you desire nothing and you disdain nothing, or you don't try to push anything away. So what he's saying is, if you desire nothing and you don't push anything away, this is the neutral space I'm talking about. This is the space in which you simply are here as awareness, and you don't hate anything and try to push it away, and you don't grab at anything because it's pleasurable and you want to keep it. So that's what he's talking about. If you desire nothing and disdain nothing, neither attachment nor detachment, neither grabbing or pushing away, will bind you. Okay?
No clinging.
Yes.
Anything.
No clinging to anything, no matter whether the dominant perception or feeling is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. No clinging.
Yes.
Okay.
And did you know from which page it was? Because I got that book also.
You have that book?
Yeah.
Well, the whole section is called Stillness. It's just 2 pages long, and it's on page 42. No, that's not right. Wait. Oh yeah, that particular piece is on page 43, which is not actually the piece I was reading from earlier.
Forget everything.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, forget everything is that particular section, which has more appropriateness to what you're talking about than what I was thinking.
Yes.
Guided by the moment.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Yes, someone just made a comment that sometimes negativity just seems to take over, and it's very, very difficult to get out of it. And yeah, this is true. A lot of times it's just a matter of the simplest way is maybe not to put so much effort into trying to get out of it, because trying to get out of it is in fact a way of clinging toward it. In other words, it's making a judgment that this is bad, or this is not pleasant, or I don't like this. And it's this very grasping, it's this very attempt to push it away or get out of something that causes us to actually cling more tightly to it. And so this is why it is important, as often as it takes, to remind ourselves that even though this moment is there's a moment of negativity which is present, so we're acknowledging it. You see, we're not trying to forcefully push it away. We're simply saying, ah, yeah, this is here. But then we're also reminding ourselves that to be aware of negativity is still to be aware, isn't it? And so we come back to this recognition once again. I am aware. This is the great benefit. It's not about, oh, I am aware continuously of pleasant things or positive things, feelings, emotions, situations, but rather to recognize that I am aware under all circumstances, waking, dreaming, sleeping, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, self, other, and world. Under all circumstances, under all situations, I am aware. This is the meaning of awakening, not some heightened sense of experience or some heightened sense of every moment is pleasurable. If you look at the lives of the great sages, whether you look at Sri Ramana or Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar or the Buddha or Ananda Moyima, you see in their stories that they went through great challenges and difficulties, often living for long periods of time in very difficult circumstances. And what they demonstrate and they prove to us by their circumstance is that it is this not moving, if you will, that is created or understood by the recognition that I am aware of whatever is here, be it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, positive, negative, or neutral. So, yes, the way to come out of the sense of negativity that you're talking about when it becomes very strong is as soon as you are able, right? So give yourself lots of space here, don't be so judgmental. Give yourself lots of space and remind yourself that in this moment, you are aware of negativity, but emphasize the I am aware aspect of the experience. This will help to draw the negativity off of it enough so that you can let it go, so that you're not clinging to it in resistance to the negativity. You resist, persists, right? What you resist, persists. So when you are not clinging, you are not resisting. And in that moment, the natural clarity of being will find in its own time an opportunity for whatever it is that feels to be present for you in terms of positive or negative. It will just go its own way, as it's destined to do. As we heard in the beginning of the passage I read today, all things are coming and going. Some things are rising and some things are passing away. Just because you label something as negative does not mean that it will not pass away. You have to remind yourself of these things. You have to speak to yourself in this way. Ah, yes, this is negativity that's here right now. You can even call it my negativity. It doesn't matter. I would suggest you don't, so you don't take too much ownership of it, but rather just say, negativity is here now, and I am aware of that. And rejoice in the fact that you are aware that negativity is here. If you really look back over your lives to the moments that took place 10 years ago, you can see times when some negative form of experience or expression or thought or emotion arose in you. And because it arose in you and you attached to it and described yourself, identified yourself with that, you actually stayed in that negativity for hours, days, weeks, or months. But if you look at what you do now as a practitioner, as a sadhak, negativity arises, you notice negativity is here. I am aware that there is negativity here right now. Who is aware? And you come out of that negativity. And now this negativity that used to last weeks or days lasts only moments or minutes. So this is a progressive, as Joy was talking about, this is a progressive practice. As you become more and more stable in your recognition, that whether what is apparent or appears in your field of awareness is positive or negative, whether it is pleasurable or unpleasant or neutral, you are that which is the awareness, which is the substratum on which all of your experience is rising. All of the experience is rising. At that point, you can't call it your experience. You just know that experience rises and falls, things come and go, and that's the way it is. What is left is that which is unmoving, and that is awareness itself, and that is your nature. So yes, while acknowledging that negativity is difficult and that you can be trapped in it a while, understand that it will go, and when it does go, be willing to let go of it. Because many of us, when we have a period of negativity or a period of difficult transition of some sort, we don't just let go. We don't say, now I woke up this morning and that feeling is gone, or that thought train is gone, or that experience is gone. Great. Okay, wonderful. We don't do that. We wake up in the morning, we notice it's gone, and then we spend the next 2 weeks ruminating about why it came up in the first place. So I suggest to you that if you stay in the moment, if you remain aware, then there is no discussion in the mind about what you were thinking about a minute ago, an hour ago, a day ago. They're simply here now. And as things rise, there can be a noticing, there can be a duration, and there can be a falling. But when the fall happens, there is not clinging to some perception that, because this arose in consciousness and was here for 2 days and it was very unpleasant, that means I am not awake. That proves it. So I suggest you drop those lines of thinking, those habitual lines of belief about who you are. Things simply come and go. You are that which is aware under all circumstances. And this awareness which you are is always here, regardless of positive, negative, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, thinking, no thinking, silence, no silence. What is aware? This is your question. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all for joining in today. So wonderful to see you all. So enjoy your day, enjoy your evening. Only love.